Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for attending. I wanted to give you just a little bit of education, a PowerPoint presentation on what we have been calling the Preston air conditioning pipe replacement project, which this is the last kind of phase of that replacement project. Aren't we glad? C-Wing is the original part of the Preston building. And so you may remember I've talked about over time that the chases for these water lines, these air conditioned lines, chilled water lines, are running vertical. And we were going to have to rip out kitchens and bathrooms to replace them where they were. And so we decided to build horizontal chases in the hall, in the corridor. So they took the whole ceiling grid down and they put up brand new pretty copper pipe that should last a long time. Now we're going to go from that main copper pipe into your apartments and connect it into your fan coil unit. So I'm going to talk about that today and how we get started and kind of where we'll start and what the work looks like before and then after. And I have some pictures to show you. So we're going to start this work next Monday. We're going to start connecting the apartment homes to the main line. The work will take us 1 to 2 weeks per floor, and we're going to start on the 4th floor and work our way down. Okay, so kind of worst case is 2 weeks per floor. The more apartments there are, the more units there are, air conditioning units, the longer it'll take us per floor. But the idea is that on July the 14th, which is Monday, right, in my book, we'll start the work. Normal business hours. Each unit, each air conditioning unit, not necessarily each apartment, but each air conditioning unit will take 2 hours, approximately 2 hours, to take the plumbing from the fan coil unit and connect it to the main. And then the following 2 hours, we will insulate those copper pipes so that they don't condensate and wet ceiling tiles and things like that. This is C-Wing. You've seen pictures of it. There are some folks in C-Wing that have already been dressed, and I'll kind of go through those. But everybody in C-Wing is probably going to receive a memo if you haven't already. This is 4th floor C-Wing. You can see there's quite a few apartments. 3rd floor as well. As we go down, the apartments get a little larger. So the 2nd floor doesn't have quite as many apartments, but it has many units. So some apartments may have up to 4 units, air conditioning units. So each one of those air conditioning units is going to take about 4 hours to connect. The good news is that because we've installed so many isolation valves, we don't have to shut down the whole air conditioning system. And so we'll be able to isolate each apartment as we go and not shut down like Mrs. Gerling's air conditioning for a 1st floor apartment. So that's a good thing. So each apartment's really just going to be shut down for that period of time it takes to do the connection.
So the isolation valves have already been installed?
Isolation valves have been installed,
And
yes.
we're adding,
New ones for each fan coil, right.
we're adding extra so we can isolate per room.
So C-Wing rooms that have been completed, if you're in any of these apartments, your work has already been done. I'll give you a couple minutes. This will be posted on the portal as well. Anybody happy
Yeah.
because they're on this list?
One house they've been completed, I didn't know they were doing.
Yeah, so they did do some. Okay, so these are the rooms that will be affected. It starts with the ground floor. There's quite a few apartments. And like I said, some of these apartments have 2 or 3 units. Okay? So these folks will have the work completed. The good news, this is the end of the project. And so once this is done, we shouldn't have to mess with it for another 20, 25 years or so. Knock on wood. I think some of you will be here still. If the good die young, I think a lot of you will be. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, so the fan coil units that I'm talking about, some of you may have seen these pictures before. Typically, most of your apartments have this kind of vent that's sticking out of the fur down, what we call fur down. And that up above that ceiling grid is the fan coil unit. So fan coil unit is just that. It's a coil that goes around, and it has these fins across it, and it has chilled water running through it, and that's what these mains are supplying to your fan coil unit. So it's chilled water that's going to your coil, and then a fan blows across it, and that's what creates your air conditioning. You have these typically in Preston, you have them above your bathroom or your kitchen as you walk into the apartments. And that's why we're gonna have to, in most of your apartments, we're gonna have to slide the ceiling tiles over, do the work to make the connections. Out in the hall, we do the same thing.
How could mine have been done and I didn't know it?
Yours could have been a horizontal run, not necessarily part of this section where it was the vertical runs. It's the Preston building, remember the Preston building has actually been expanded 4 times.
Yes.
And so, and every expansion was built a little differently, and so that's why there's variations. This is another apartment just showing, this is actually a guest apartment, but just showing those vents and the drop-down ceiling in the bathroom. You can see it just looking through that door. And then those, some of the apartments will have to have their bathrooms, will go in their bathroom and move the ceiling tile to get to the unit. Sometimes it's the kitchen. Most of the time it's the kitchen. So every apartment's a little different. Here's another example. And I'll start, when we're ready, a few months down the road, I'll start talking about sprinkler systems and how those, you see these fur downs, and that sprinkler system, the pipe for the sprinkler will tap through that fur down and sprinkle your apartment if there was ever a fire in it. I'll talk to you all about that as we get closer. So a lot of the work is going to actually occur in the corridor. They're going to lift those tiles, slide them over, and then do the real connection work. This is the before picture. Notice how this has a rag wrapped around it, because if it didn't have that rag, it might be spewing. So that, Abel and his team have put a rag over it to get the water to drip down in this drip pan. So you can tell this apartment was leaking at the time. It was a guest room, and we made them start there as a beta test to figure out how long it took them to do the work. And that's what it looks like when it's done. This is uninsulated, so I don't have a picture today of the insulated pipe, but you can see the hole that's going in, the 2 holes that are going into the apartment. That is the thickness of the insulation. So once the pipe is insulated, that hole will be filled up. And that's a brand new isolation valve. So we can, if your unit fails, we can turn off that valve and isolate your unit, and we don't have to take down everybody's air conditioning to fix it. Do you remember years ago when we had an issue with a big leak and we had to shut down like the whole C-wing, and I had to roll out mobile air conditioners everywhere? We'll never have to do that again because of these isolation valves being installed in every fan coil unit. Well, that was easy. Questions? Maria?
I am wondering about the condensation that's coming.
Is your microphone on?
Yeah, it's on.
Just put it in there. There you
Can you hear me now?
go. Yeah, I can hear you. I want them to.
I'm wondering about the condensation that comes in through the ceiling tiles, right above the front door of some of the apartments. It does in mine. And I'm having to have my tiles replaced like every 2 days, the last 2 weeks. And when the water comes through, within a day, there's mold growing there. It's black.
Your
on the
tiles
ceiling.
being replaced every 2 days?
Yeah,
Condensation in the building increased.
yeah.
And then condensation outside, the part of the condensation outside, and condensation.
Are you sure it's not the pan running over?
No.
It's condensation underneath the pan, right, Abel? Yeah, but it's a lot of,
We're currently checking all the ones that have the most condensation, we'll get to your room, and we're having to insulate more insulation.
here, I'll-
Yeah.
We're currently going through each apartment, especially the ones that we've noticed that we have to replace the tiles over and over again. And we're adding more insulation to actually underneath the pans and around the one picture you showed me where it was, you saw that one was insulated?
Yes.
Some of y'all's are not.
right.
For some reason, they're not insulated. So we're going back and we're insulating those, like we're doing on the 3rd floor. Has anybody walked the 3rd floor? That was bare metal. Well, it's not good, because it's hot in here, cold, so it creates condensation. So we're adding the insulation, that's what we're doing, going to the room and that installation.
Thank you. Thanks.
That black insulation on the,
Still,
yeah,
the pipe, the black insulation, we're using the fiberglass metal insulation for the actual pan and around the plenum box.
okay. Somebody, Mrs. Kelly, I think, had her hand up.
When these pipes come back into the apartments, how much interference is that gonna be with anything on the shelving? Cabinets?
It shouldn't be too much unless the shelving is in the middle of the floor. Most of the,
Closets.
hmm?
The closets.
Oh, closets,
That's
yeah.
gonna be-
If it's in a closet, that may be difficult, so we may have to move some items to get to it and protect them. We'll have drop cloths and things like that to protect items, but it depends on the location of the fan coil unit. In your apartment, I don't think you have a fan coil unit in a closet. Yours is in the kitchen. Yeah, yeah. So it shouldn't be an issue for you. But if there's a table and chairs in the way or something like that, it's certainly gonna have to be moved so they can get into that ceiling. Yes, sir.
We've had a problem with the drip fan drain being stopped up and overflowing the drip fan twice in the closet and once in the living room. What can we do to overcome that problem?
We're supposed to be treating those with bromine tablets to keep them from getting growth in those lines. That's what's happening.
How often do they have to replace?
Once a year.
We're increasing that for 6 months now.
Or they're doing it every 6 months now. Anybody else? No? Okay, so the work will start nearest the elevator. So if you're on the 4th floor and you're nearest the elevator, plan on them being at your apartment Monday morning. Let's see here.
Which direction from
Closest to the elevator towards the end of the corridor, the end of the hall. So if you're on the 4th floor, 452 will be an apartment. 451, if it's not done already, it will be, and then they'll move towards the end of the corridor, towards the emergency exit stairs for each unit. So they'll start about 8 o'clock Monday morning, okay? Any questions? Any more questions or anything? Any worries? Yes, ma'am?
I just would like to comment on the chart that's being passed out that shows what's being done is not very useful. And either we need a different chart or just don't send that one because we can't read it and we don't know what it means.
I talked about this at my chat, and I really don't want to have to reproduce it, but if you, as we go along, I think they're pretty self-explanatory. There might be 1 or 2 items that I had questions about last time, but as we go along, you'll know what the items mean. Give me an example.
I don't have one in front of me. All I know is that when I look at it, I get cross-eyed. And so
Yeah.
I put it down.
Because it's so small.
And because it doesn't have a key or
Okay.
a legend, so you don't know
Well,
what.
I mean, we can stop sending them out, but that's what I sent out during the Carlisle construction project, and everybody seemed to understand them then.
Well, I guess I'm a little dim-witted, but,
I doubt that.
I just am saying that if there's a way to improve them, it would be appreciated.
Okay. Other than recreating the document, yeah, I don't know, I don't really want to do that if I can avoid it. I have said that if you have questions about a particular item on the document, just shoot me an email and I can tell you. I know that they had an abbreviation that said cap off CWL, and some people didn't know what that meant. And actually, it's chilled water line. It just means that they're capping the pipe for that chilled water line so that they can continue to do their work. Somebody asked me, what does it mean to make safe the Preston courtyard? Well, it's to put up fences and barriers to protect residents from getting lost or making it inside the construction area. That seems to me to be kind of common sense. But, certainly if you have a question, I'm gonna continue to send them out. I'm not posting them except on the portal. And I'm only printing them upon request. So, and as, there's also now, a construction camera that you can see from our website, and it should be on your portal you'll have access to. So you can actually watch some of these things, and as we go along, the items that are listed on the calendar will start to make more sense, right? But I'll certainly try to have them not talk in abbreviations, because I know that's difficult.
Chuck, who's doing the work?
Where? The construction or this? This
big-
project, the plumbing replacement project? It is MPS, the same folks who built the main lines and the corridors. And then our team will be with them as well.
I live in 452, and 452 is going to start Monday morning,
Yes.
and I have 2 air conditioning units, so should I leave and go visit my daughter, or should I be here when they do it?
You certainly can, if you'd like. Because it's going to take all day to do your apartment. I could certainly understand if you wanted to leave the apartment, but you should be able to still sit there and watch TV in reasonable comfort. It's not like it's gonna be jackhammering or anything like that, but there will be some noise. They'll cut some pipes, to make the connections. There'll be some noise when they cut those pipes.
I just wondered if I needed to be there to,
You don't need to be there,
okay, thank you.
but you can be there. Either one, or you can just go to the library and read a book for a while, or go to one of the common spaces. I always like to be there when they're doing work, but that's just me.
What are those numbers, 290 and 291? The blue? Oh, yeah, I see.
I don't know. I don't know what those numbers are. It kind of looks like it's an old, I don't have a key anymore. This is an old floor map.
Yeah, they really.
Is it a zone?
It's zones for fire.
It's a fire zone, April tells me. That might be where the fire cabinet is, for the hose that we were
One is the fire
looking at.
cabinet and the other one,
Fire extinguisher, fire
Is
transmission,
the-
Yeah, that makes sense.
egress,
what's the,
fire door.
no, what's the thing you use?
Oh,
Defibrillators, yes, yeah, AEDs,
Hey, whatever.
talking abbreviations. I have to be careful what I show you all. Rich, you're so
I'm
observant.
gonna start taking it off.
You know. All right, well, anybody else?
Completion date?
Each floor will take a week to 2 weeks, depending on how many units there are per floor.
Probably like two.
How many teams? Probably two, at least 2 teams, sometimes 3.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to get as many in here as possible without breaking the plan.
Right.
When do we start on the heating project?
Heating project?
We'll have air conditioning.
Oh, it's the same. And so these pipes, yeah, it is HVAC, heating and air conditioning. So the same pipes carry hot water if it ever gets cold enough to use it. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time we use the electric heat strips that are in your fan coil unit to control the heat. Only when the temperature drops below 42 degrees outside do we put the boilers on. That's the interesting thing about the Preston building. It's a 2-pipe system. And so you only have 2 pipes, and either everybody gets air conditioning and we use the electric heat strips when we need it, or we all flip to the boiler, and when we turn the boilers on, you will be warm wherever you are. The only way to get cool is to turn your unit off, right? Because of the 2-pipe system. So we try not to use it very much. We only use it, we used it during what we called snowvid, that big freeze, you know. We were blessed to have it. But most of the time, your electric heat strips in your units are enough to keep you warm, so. Well, thank you all, appreciate it. Thank you for your patience. I apologize for any inconveniences in advance.